Check, 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 check. Check, check. Sound check. Doing sound check. Sound check, sound check. Sound check, sound check. Yes. Hi guys. Welcome everybody. I'm just doing a little bit of sound check here. We are going live on YouTube as well now, as long as I can get this stuff going. Okay. No. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Good morning, good morning. Sorry guys, just a second. I'm going to get my audio working here. Otherwise, I can't get the mic working. Okay. Unfortunately, YouTube, I think today is going to have to get the replay. Darn it. I need to get an external mic because the computer that I have, the microphone seems to be working some days, but not every day. So, I'm sorry, YouTube. Let me see. I'm going to try going live anyway. Maybe the mic will kick in. Okay, welcome everyone for Bhakti Bites. We have been MIA for the last 2 weeks to rest, rejuvenate, what's the word? To plan ahead, to do all these wonderful things, to kind of reevaluate what's working and what's not working. And I've got some really exciting things happening this year, and I'm really excited to share them with you guys. So let's see. Okay, I've got that going there. Okay. So for those of you new here, hello, my name is Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator and your shenanigan shaman. These are our Bhakti Bite sessions. Bhakti means devotion, so devotion to what? Is this some spiritual practice? Is it something? No. Devotion to self-care. Devotion to self-care through the practice of mindfulness tools. Now, we have been working for a number of weeks and will continue to work with the mudras because mudras are such a simple way to balance the energy body, balance the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body. Mudras can affect us on all levels. And as a back pocket tool to use during your day when things are up and down and the waves of life are kind of rolling over you, when you need something to help you get back to center, when you need something to help you get back to grounded, when you need something to clear your head or release some anxiety, mudras are there. And I love working with the energy body. The energy body is my language. So that is a primary mode of communication, I guess. So anyway, good morning, Sean. We are going to be working with mudras for a number of months continuing. And we're starting out, this year I'm actually kind of making a progression to the mudras, so stick around because there's going to be an intention behind the direction of the mudras and which ones we're choosing, which ones we're doing. And then I'm going to also link them up to the tiny yoga class on Fridays. So there's a continuity now, more so than there was before, with our mudras and our yoga class. So this one is just a brief practice and brief meditation. If you've got a few minutes, come join us. Enjoy this little respite from your day. This week, we are working with the Anjali Mudra. Anjali stands for, or translates, to prayer or salutation. The Anjali Mudra is also known as obviously the prayer mudra, and is done like so. Now, I want to make one small note here. There's a difference between the Anjali Mudra and the Namaskar gesture. Think of it this way. The Namaskar gesture is one where you go, hi, hello, nice to see you, nice to meet you. It's a friendly sort of greeting, hey, how you doing, right? The Anjali gesture, the Anjali Mudra, is a practice of coming to our center. It is a recognition that there is something larger than us. Now, what is larger than us is kind of up to you to interpret, right? I'm not weaving any sort of religious whatnot in here. It's simply using this mudra to take a moment and recognize that you're not the biggest fish in the universe, right? That there is something, even if it's just the universe, that is bigger than you. And it's important for us to take time to, I guess, give our ego a rest, let that ego have a little bit of a rest, and to honor the larger cycles and the larger energies that exist in the universe. The ones that are supportive, the ones that are helpful for us, the ones that carry us through our lives, the energy that flows through us. Even if that's all you're acknowledging today, is the fact that there is energy that runs through us, prana that runs through us, some kind of life force. It doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't matter what religious ideas, whatnot you subscribe to it. So we're going to practice this mudra. Again, we sit with the mudra and we do a brief meditation. So the Anjali Mudra, again, is one for reverence, one for acknowledging something larger than yourself, one used for prayer, and to show respect. It is also one that opens up the heart center. And it opens up the central energy channel in the body. Now, that central energy channel is where that source energy comes from. It's where that energy, that prana flows through us. So it is also really good practice to spend time just breathing through that channel. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to focus on the heart center, and then we're going to breathe through the heart and through that channel. You ready? You got a few minutes? Okay. When you are ready, find yourself a comfortable spot to sit. You can do this if you're walking. You can do this if you're sitting. Please don't do it if you're driving. You need your hands on the wheel. But if you're parked somewhere and you're in your car, you can also do this. If you're in your office and you've got a few minutes, you can do this too. So I invite you to find yourself wherever you're at for a few moments. If it's available to you, go ahead and close your eyes, and we will begin with 3 deep breaths. First, sealing the lips and inhaling the breath through the nose, pulling it through the lungs and down all the way into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and elongating the spine. And release. Inhale once more, expanding the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. And let it go. So for the Anjali Mudra, we just bring our palms together, hands together, aligning the fingers, aligning the thumbs, gently pressing the palms into each other. We don't want a ton of pressure, but we do want to put a little bit of pressure there, pressing the palms together, and then anchoring the thumbs to the sternum. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, bring the mudra down just a little bit so that you're anchoring it to the bottom, to the base of the sternum, right at the bottom of the heart, at the beginning of the solar plexus, right at the base of where the rib cage connects. Keeping those fingers together as best you can. Again, if this is not available to you and it's easier for you to hold the mudra up here, or if your fingers spread a little bit, that's okay. Honor where you are in the moment. Trust that you will be receiving the gifts that this mudra has for you just by sitting with the intention. Remember, the most important part of meditation is our intention and our attention. So for now, hold your attention on your mudra, on the palms of your hands, on the connections. Feel into every inch of the palms of your hands as they create mild pressure between your hands. And just continue to breathe slow and steady. Oftentimes we use mudras in tandem with other practices, and we don't spend much time actually paying attention to the effects of the mudra itself. So I invite you, as you keep your attention on the palms of your hands, on all of the points on the palms of your hands that are touching, I invite you to open your awareness to whatever else happens with this mudra. Do you notice a calming sensation? Do you notice a buzzing sensation? Is there warmth growing in your body or coolness? Keep your attention on whatever arises from this mudra. And if nothing arises, just focus on the points, all of the surface area that your palms are touching, where your palms are touching. Continue with slow, steady breaths. Noticing the way that the mudra rises and falls with your breath. And if thoughts arise or external distractions try to pull your attention away, simply bring your awareness back to your mudra, to the surface area of your palms, or to another sensation that is arising from the use of this mudra. Take a few more breaths here. And I invite you now to move your awareness into your heart space. Feel the way your heart rises and falls with each breath. And I invite you to offer gratitude to your heart, respect to your heart, this thing that without it we would not be living. It is imperative to our survival that this heart continues to beat, that it continues to dance with the breath, the ebb and flow of life within us. I invite you to cultivate this feeling in your heart space. Gratitude respect. Maybe even a little humility at the realization that without these, without the heart, without the breath, without the dance of them both, there would be no you. Offer your reverence to your heart. Take several more breaths here, really sinking into the feeling of gratitude, of reverence, respect, and humility. I encourage you to stay here as long as you would like. I definitely encourage you to stay here for quite some time if it's available to you, because it's a really sweet, soothing space to spend some time in. Honoring the heart, honoring your breath. These life-giving forces. When you feel complete, I invite you to either leave your hands here in prayer or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice, in gratitude for the opportunity to use these mudras, use these tools to balance, to center, to heal, and offer to heal and offer. Whoa, what happened? What the heck just happened, you guys? I was in the middle of meditation and then YouTube froze, TikTok froze. All of the electronics all at once were like, bye. I have no idea what happened. All of my electronics froze all at the same time. That was wild. I apologize for leaving you sitting there, but maybe you just needed extra time to sit there in your meditation. If you are still sitting in your meditation, and you would like to come out of meditation, please do so slowly. Offer yourself a little gratitude for taking the time for self-care today. Thank you all so much for joining me for our meditation, as well as tolerating the ups and downs that are the technological advances. Again, I apologize for leaving you there, but maybe it was what was meant to be. So... Oh, that's funny though. That's so funny. Okay. So, the Anjali Mudra. The Anjali Mudra. I really love spending time with mudras that we're all really familiar with, right? The Gyan Mudra, the Anjali Mudra. These are ones we see most commonly. But again, oftentimes when we use mudras, we use them in tandem with other practices and don't really sit with the energy of the mudra itself. So one of the things that I notice when I sit with the mudra just for the sake of sitting with the mudra, is that I almost always feel some kind of sensation in my hands, right? And the Anjali mudra is especially powerful. Usually any other mudra, I'm going to feel some sort of buzzing, some sort of sensation in my hands. But when I put my hands together in the Anjali mudra, it is a full palm experience, right? And as an energy worker, before I practice energy work, I actually use the Anjali mudra to cultivate that energy, to work on my awareness of that energy before I practice. So it's calming, it's centering, it facilitates a connection to the heart, to the central energy channel, and is a way for us to recognize, again, that there is something bigger than us. This does not have to be God. It does not have to be a biblical God. It does not have to be a religious God of any kind. It doesn't have to be anything. Honestly, what are the things that you can offer reverence to? I think about this a lot of times when I think about gratitude. What are the things that I can offer gratitude to that are foundational, that are as simple as we can get? And I almost always return to breath, heartbeat, and if nothing else, these things are greater than me. Without them, I would not be, right? So if I'm grateful for anything, especially on those days where I feel a little less grateful or a little more frustrated or a little more worried, and I turn to my gratitude practice, that is where I go. My breath, my heartbeat. Whether you believe in a higher power or not, whether you believe in prana or not, or the energy body or not, whether you believe a religious doctrine or not, does not matter. We all recognize that the breath and the heartbeat, without them, we do not exist. So I know a lot of people are in like the middle of things like deconstruction and shifting and reassessing our beliefs and our values and whatnot, and that is all good work to do. And I recently ran into somebody who was in the middle of doing that, and she responded to me in this way where she was like, I really don't want to talk about any of it. I really don't want to talk about any of it with anybody, really. I'm doing my work, basically. And I really respected that, right? I really respected, like, you're not trying to get other people's opinions about it. You're really trying to explore what it means for you internally. But we did talk about that piece, about even in that place of deconstruction, when you're not sure what is and what isn't, you're not sure where your values are really rooted, and it can feel a bit uprooted, right? Especially when we're used to turning our attention to something greater than us. So I go back again and again, to the breath and to the heartbeat. How's my roof going? Good. I fixed the edge of the tarp that day. So thank you guys for being my chaperones on live. Thanks, Ashley. Yeah, good morning. We're supposed to get snow here in the next few days. You silly dog. I think when we break things down to that simple perspective, uncomplicated, I don't need to contemplate the gods. I don't need to contemplate the beginning of the universe or the end of the universe. I don't even need to tarry with yesterday or tomorrow. I can sit in meditation and just listen to my breath and just feel my heartbeat. And that in and of itself is a very powerful practice. You know, I think a lot of us are familiar with this idea that some of the most profound teachings are the simplest, right? Like the simplest two line, 5 words sort of stuff. And you're like, it's so simple because it's right there it's right there. But in practice, not so much. When you think to yourself, yeah, that's simple. Okay, I'm going to put my hands in this prayer position and I'm just going to honor my breath. That's it. I'm just going to pay attention to my breath. Nothing more. That's all. I'm just going to sit here with this. Thank you, Tony. But then we do that and we notice that there's a weird sound coming from the kitchen and maybe we should get up and deal with that. Or the dog wants attention, so maybe I should stop meditating and give him attention. Or my mind suddenly brings up some absurdly annoying thought that was from a traumatic event from 15 years ago, right? All of these things that are distractions that may pull us away from our practice. It's not so simple anymore, is it? I just want to sit and listen to my breath. Nothing more. I just want to sit and listen to my breath. But there are so many things begging us to do, right? Rather than be, begging us to do, begging us to engage, begging us to move on to the next thing, worry about the next thing, contemplate the next thing. I have found the most peace in my life by employing the simplest practices. Hey, Claybeard, how are you? How's baby? Because it is these simple practices that are always available, right? And I know we talked about this a little bit last year, but it's a new year, so we got to revisit it. Meditation is a personal practice. The more you sit with it, the more it will resonate within you. And meditation is not cookie cutter, is not a cookie cutter practice, is not one size fits all, and is not going to feel exactly the same every time. I think a lot of us, I know that a lot of us have this misconception that to meditate correctly, I have to sit still and in silence. And if I do that, I have meditated successfully. Yet that is only a small fraction of the practice. The practice is just that. It is the practice. It is the sitting down and setting your intention. It is the bringing your awareness back again and again and again to your practice. I talk about it a lot like a pendulum, right? You sit there, you're hoping for center. You're hoping for calm, centered, still, right? Meditation. But in reality, the mind pulls you over here really quick because you're worried about something tomorrow. And you go, oh, and we bring the pendulum back to center by focusing on the breath or focusing on whatever the Anjali, right? Focusing on our palms. Whatever our focal point is, wherever our intention is, we bring our attention back to our intention over and over and over again. And by doing this, we start to exercise that muscle. The muscle memory, the mental memory, the training our mind monkeys to come back to center, to find a seated resting spot for a few moments. And the more we do this, the more we visit this practice. This is why meditation daily is so powerful, is because by doing that every single day, even if it's just for 5 minutes, you're going to notice a difference. You're going to notice a difference in your ability to find that quiet, centered place. You're going to notice a difference in your ability to perceive your thoughts rather than allowing them to drive the ship. Thank you, Luke. I forget what sparked the conversation actually the other day, but my son and I had a conversation about this. And I was talking about how, because there was something that he chose to do that wasn't the wisest choice. He's 7. It happens every day. Might not have been the wisest choice for him. So we were discussing this choice. And he was talking about how his brain kind of like told him to do it, right? He was like, my brain told me to do it. I just wanted to do it. I forget how he said it, but it was something like that. Like his brain told him to do it. And I said to him, I go, when I'm driving the car, do I let the steering wheel drive the car? And he goes, no. No, of course not. I go, your brain is part of the vehicle. You don't let the brain drive. You are the driver. Your steering wheel, your vehicle might say, hey, let's go that way. But you don't let it drive. You take that wheel and you say, let me consider that. Should we go that way? Well, if we go that way, it might not go so well for us. Let's try going this way instead, right? That's how you navigate through life. But when you let the brain drive the body, you're letting the wheel drive the car. You're letting the wheel drive the ship. And it was funny because when we talked about that, he then said, yeah, and we were talking about a ship, that's right. Because he goes, and the body is the ship, and the feet are the oars and the rudder. And I go, yeah, and what are the sails? He said, the sails are your dreams because they get me going, he says. I love the analogy because when we use that analogy, we start to create, we start to conceptualize of a place for our captain, right? We practice mindfulness in hopes that we make space for our captain, in hopes that we can quiet the chaos of the pirate ship, the circus of the mind monkeys, enough to hear the quiet, sturdy voice of the captain. The captain has the maps. The captain knows how to read the stars. The captain has the compass. The brain is not the captain. And so we use mindfulness as a means to build a relationship with the brain, learn how to use the brain as a tool rather than as the captain, rather than letting it drive the ship. And same with the emotions. We don't let the emotions drive the ship either. We know how that goes when we let the emotions drive the ship. We end up crashed in the rocks, or in the middle of a storm that we didn't need to be in, or we end up totally fucking capsized, or on an absolutely wrong beach. We have no idea how we got there. I'm sure it's somebody else's fault. When we let the emotions drive, again, they don't always make the wisest choices, right? Because they don't have the map. They aren't the higher self. They aren't the wiser self. They don't know where we're headed. That wiser self, that higher self, that knows where we're headed. So when we talk about dharma and karma and not wanting more karma and trying to find our dharma, our purpose in life, trying to find our path, trying to be centered, and I feel like life is just throwing me around left and right. Well, it's probably because we're not on our path, because we're trying to divert and go all these different ways because we're letting the emotions and the brain and whatever, or other people drive our ship. When your locus of control is outside of you, then you are easily pulled around, easily ping-ponged by life, by others, by our emotions. And this is mindfulness. And I don't even talk about mindfulness as a religious practice, as a spiritual practice. I am talking about mindfulness as a tool to come home to myself, as a means of coming home to myself, as a means of returning home to the core self that resides inside me, the one that I was born with, the one that carries me through this lifetime, the one that has so much wisdom that we so often ignore for the chatter of the loudest thoughts and the loudest emotions. Why is it that we give our attention to the loudest things? Especially when their advice, again, often is like kind of shallow and not so wise and potentially immature. And those, emotional responses where you're like, oh, wow, that's a really immature thought, my friend. Are we going to act on that or not? But if you're not practicing that mindfulness, if you're not finding that captain, if you're not finding that center, that locus of control, then you're not going to hear that thought and you're not going to think about whether or not you're going to do it. You're just going to go ahead and react. That's why reaction is a repeat action based on our wiring, based on our programming, based on, and I say programming not as some nefarious nonsense, but as the simple process of becoming human. Okay? You are born into a meat bag. Okay? Whatever your beliefs are of where we come from or how many times or whatever's beyond life, let's not even go there. You're born into this body. You've got this life to live, right? Do you want to live that life? Or do you want life to live you? Do you want to be a puppet on the stage of life and let these emotions and other people's feelings and words and events throw you around? There is something to learn in that. There are gifts in that. I personally say I won't ever knock anybody's path. In fact, I commend those souls who choose lives of suffering and who continue to choose suffering in their lives. Because again, there are lessons that are huge and profound within that, but it takes such strength and such bravery to commit yourself to a life of suffering. And ultimately, it is something that we choose. Whether or not we are aware of that choice is a matter of awareness. And honestly, one of my biggest, here's a little admission about me, one of my biggest fears is that I am operating unconsciously in ways that are causing me suffering, that are causing me to struggle, that are causing me to suffer in my life. That's my biggest fear. And it's why I practice mindfulness, is so that every single day I can spend a few minutes tapping in, finding that centered place, quieting the chaos within, cultivating that skill, my response ability, my ability to respond so that I know where my captain is, so that I can hear the wiser suggestions rather than just the loudest suggestions, right? Any of you ever experienced that thing where you're driving a car, let's say on, a windy mountain road, and you get that thought that goes, what if we just yanked the wheel and went off? I wonder what that would be like. Not a depressive thought, right? Not like a unaliving thought, but really just like a thought, right? How many times do we have these thoughts that come up that are like, I wonder what it'd be like to put my hand on that really hot thing. To some degree, hopefully most of us at least have okay, let's not do that, right? Obviously that's going to hurt like hell. Obviously that would destroy the car. Obviously we would put ourselves in a lot of danger, right? A lot of times we have that. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. But when we deal with the more subtle expressions of our emotions and our subtle thoughts and our concerns and our worries and our fears and little things like that, it's not so obvious. Yet, when we cultivate awareness, when we spend time in that place, when we spend time listening to the quieter parts of self, then we become able, more capable to respond, to discern which things are for us and which are not. It's the subtlety. When we're children, when we're very young, there's not much subtlety involved, right? These are big, sweeping, gross motor, right, actions, big things that we're doing in our lives. And as we move through life, it is my experience that refinement is what brings us back to center, is what brings us healing, is what brings us to a place of wisdom. Without discernment, I don't think we can cultivate wisdom. Without discernment, we devolve into judgment. And judgment is a form of attachment. Judgment is a form of creating a battle between self and other. Me and them. But discernment is simply, no thank you. No thank you. Life does not have to be a battle. And in the wise words of my mama, right? When you create an enemy of yourself, whether it be a part of yourself, a behavior, a choice you make, or just self-talk, when you create an enemy of yourself, when you create an enemy within yourself, you create a battle that you will fight every single day. And the question really is do you want to wage war with yourself for a lifetime? If the answer is yes, again, I commend you. More power to you. That is a brave choice. I personally don't think I could withstand a lifetime of suffering. So I come to mindfulness every day. And through mindfulness practice, I have relieved myself of already a great deal of suffering. And to see it in action, to see it working in my life, truly making difference in my life, is why I'm here sharing it, really. Obviously, it's confirmation for me. Obviously, it's, it's all these other things for me, but ultimately, it's why I'm sharing it, is because without these tools, without these practices, I know you guys have heard me say it before, but I would not be here. There would have been a day that I didn't get out of bed. There would have been a morning that I didn't wake up. I have been lost. I have been in the bottom of the barrel. I have been at the bottom of the ocean with the weight of all of the world's oceans bearing down on me. And even in that place, it was mindfulness that brought me little tiny moments of relief, tiny moments of respite that ultimately created the ladder that got me out. So, that said, I invite you to take the mudra for the week and sit with the mudra. Again, this week's mudra is the Anjali mudra, simply the prayer mudra. And again, is done by placing your palms together, aligning the fingers and the thumbs, creating a slight pressure, and then pressing the thumbs to your sternum. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, lower your Anjali mudra so that the top of the thumbs are right at the base of your sternum. This is where the mudra should ultimately be. But again, if this is unavailable to you and it works better up here, that's fine. If you come down here and your fingers start to open up, that's okay too. Thanks, Nikki. Just get as close as you can to the mudra and then just sit with it. Sit with that mudra. Sit with that. I invite you to use this mudra this week with the meditation, right, that we used, which was just a brief honoring. Use this reverence, this gesture of reverence to honor your heartbeat, to honor your breath, just for 5 minutes each day. Just see what happens, right? What have you got to lose? Worst case scenario, you find some moments of peace in there, right? Actually, worst case scenario, nothing happens. Worst case scenario, you sit here for 5 minutes every day this week doing this, and you're like, didn't notice anything different. Luckily, our energy body still works without your brain knowing it works. This is how we know the brain is a tool of the body and not the end-all be-all of the body. So, Bhakti Bites happens again on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Remember, our new schedule for this year is Monday and Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Bhakti Bites. And then we have Tiny Yoga on Friday at 10 a.m. I will be hopefully getting YouTube sorted out so I can go live on YouTube as well as TikTok, so you can find me in both places. We are going into our Sangha sessions. So for those of you who are members over at Move with Change, this is a members only class. We are going to be doing that on Zoom. I will send out the link really quick. The class announcement actually should have probably already gone out. If you are a subscriber here on TikTok, you get a free month over at Move with Change. So if you'd like to join this class, if you'd like to join us, go over to Move with Change. If you have any questions about that, need the link to get the free thing, whatever, all that stuff, send me a message. Otherwise, find me at Move with Change. Go follow me over on YouTube, please, at Move with Change on YouTube as well. Thank you, Cougar Queen. Welcome. Oh, Nikki. Aw, that's so cute. Thank you. Yes, thank you, guys. Sorry I missed a couple of comments in here. Okay. Thank you guys for the follows. Again, Bhakti Bites will be live on Saturday morning, Tiny Yoga on Friday morning, both at 10 o'clock. We are moving into our Sangha Sessions class. And in this class, what we are doing in our Sangha Sessions class is to either work on a workshop or expand on the themes that we are working on in the Bhakti Bites, Tiny Yoga, and whatnot classes. So today we are in day 4 of our Kundalini Kriya, of our 40-day meat suit challenge. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my content. There is a post for the introduction and the explanation of it, and then there's a post every day so that you can have a timer video to do the practice. If you would like to join us in-house for practice together and a deep dive into what Kriyas actually are, Kundalini Kriyas, and Kundalini energy and Kundalini awakening, we're going to be talking about all of that stuff in our Sangha Sessions class. The Sangha Session class happens in 10 minutes, so I have to get off here and make sure everybody got the Zoom link, and then I will see you guys in class. Again, if you want to join, subscribe here so you get the free month, or go over to Move with Change and subscribe to Kaya Sangha. Again, it's Kaya Sangha, C-A-Y-A Sangha. That is where you can get access to all of the workshops I do, twice weekly group coaching, all of the live stuff, extended practice classes, and discounts, heavy discounts on everything that I do for private sessions. So there's a big perk to being a member over there. There are perks to being subscribers here. Subscriber here, you get a subscriber only live twice a week, astrology subscriber only lives, and my members over in the Kaya Sangha, you guys get access to the astrology anytime. You want to send me a message and ask me about your chart, let's do it. You want to use group coaching session to talk about asteroids in your natal charts, let's do it. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for the follows. Thank you so much for joining me today. Enjoy your Mudra for the week. This dog is passed out. Was that a lot of work for you? All right. I will see you guys in class. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Have a great Monday. Oh, wait. One last thing. Coaching by donation is back on. I've decided to keep coaching by donation happening because I really enjoyed it. So coaching by donation will be happening in the afternoon or today at 4:30. Again, this is Pacific time. All of my times are Pacific time. So we have 4:30 this evening will be coaching by donation. To get a ticket for coaching by donation, you need to go to Move with Change, hit the coaching by donation link at the top of the page, and you can purchase a ticket for whatever you want, whatever you can pay. And then there are 10 to 15 minute coaching sessions. So be prepared with whatever you want to talk about. We can work on a mudra, we can work on a mantra, we can do a meditation. I can just do some energy work. You can vent. We can work on relationship stuff, parenting stuff, the herbalism, nutrition. There's a massive toolbox back there to access. So I love you guys so much. If you have any questions about any of that I just rattled off on, like the fine fucking print, feel free to send me a message or here on TikTok or over in Move with Change. Okay. Mwah. Now, have a wonderful, 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 wonderful Monday. Thank you again, guys. I love you so much.